Hi, I'm Brian Bose, and this is Mr. T. We're from Mil-Spec Landscaping. Let us take you on a tour. We started out as Mil-Spec Lawn Care, and then eventually we morphed into just Mil-Spec Landscaping and got rid of the lawn care side. But because we own a small farm now, we have such a large property, we kept these two Ferris stand-on mowers just for that. Which is why on the tires, you can see on the tires on both the mowers, they're kind of gnarly ATV tires. They're not meant for beautiful lawns because those will definitely tear up some lawns. So this small 48-inch Ferris, it ran 6,000, something like that. This big boy, the Z3X, which is a 61-inch cut, if I'm not mistaken, it has a massive engine on it. I want to say it's like 37 horsepower. This thing was 12,000, but this thing is just a beast. It'll eat everything. Here's my best piece of advice for buying commercial equipment. Be dealer loyal and not brand loyal. You could buy these Ferris mowers, right? But if you don't have anyone that can fix them locally and you can't fix them yourself, then when they break, and eventually something will break, who has what equipment locally? How fast can they get parts? Do they have mechanics on hand? A lot of people get wrapped around the axle about brand. You can have the best equipment, but if you don't have anyone that can wrench on it, then why do you have it? This is a self-propelled billy goat, and it is nothing but a giant blower. And this is North Star piece of equipment. It's just a pressure washer. I put air filter, pump oil, engine oil changed, March 2021. Another expensive reel, but works amazing. This is a biker spreader. We mainly just use this one just because you can chuck rock salt with it, you can chuck fertilizer with it, you can chuck seed with it. It's really built like a tank. It's all, stainless steel, everything. So when you look at it and you're like, wow, $500, but you're not gonna have to buy another one. But this is basically a generator. Whether you need it for your house or whether you need it to run fuel tanks. I've had this for years, gosh, 15 years maybe? If you take care of your equipment, right, and you do all the maintenance on it and do what you're supposed to do, it'll take care of you. This is basically a baby air compressor right here. Much easier to maneuver around, this handle folds down. This one's great. You definitely cannot write this off on your business taxes. I don't think anyone's gonna buy that. This is just a Coleman mini bike. It's fun, it's hilarious watching the kids just buzz around the property and the farm with it. This is a new addition from the Flex series, basically, and it is, a light. But it's great, because it's telescoping. Beats the old halogen versions, if you will. I almost missed their little trusty Cobalt table saw here. This isn't really expensive. It's a portable table saw. I use it because I just roll it out of the shop, when we're gonna build some things for clients, whether it's benches or chairs. This whole area is kind of what I like to call incoming equipment / to-do area. All this stuff is for the maintenance requirement for track loader that's sitting right outside. These two right here came out of the truck, right? I got a new torch kit still in the box that go with the tanks. Chainsaw, mill, backpack blower, small equipment here. The new battery stuff, giant chainsaw. So I have 3 daughters. They painted it. I don't even know what IB Flossin is or swag on them. Are those toes? I think those are toes. And they turned it into a sea creature. This was initially to hold the dog leashes because it says time for a walk. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna use it in the shop for keys. So I put the keys there. Shop lighting for me, it was almost the first thing that I actually worked on. I installed all these lights. They're LED and they're all basically encased. They're not gonna absorb dust and moisture and all that other stuff. When you look at the stuff up here and you see the lens covers on them, right? It makes the light diffused. So it's not a spotlight. It acts more like a fog light and it basically pushes the light out, as you can see, all over the place. We didn't start out like this, so I don't want people to think that somehow we just had, a wazillion dollars and we just bought all this new stuff. I started off with Craftsman, like my dad. I had a smaller tool chest and eventually this is probably a year and a half old. I was pretty pumped up when we got this. On top here, all my Echo E-Force batteries and the chargers, and this stuff is for like the blower, the handheld blower, string trimmer. This is the new line from Lowe's, the Flex line. I did a whole lot of research. It's not Hilti, but for what I needed to do, I just sort of went all in. So when you look at this tool chest and you see all these labels, I like to keep everything organized. If you look throughout the shop, and as we go throughout the shop, you'll see that it's basically a load plan. This is kind of a load plan for your shop. Everything has its place because it makes it easier to find things, it makes it easier to do work, it just looks better. In our business, perception is power. And after spending over 20 years in the military, this is one of the things that really gets ingrained in you from the beginning, making sure everything is squared away. I keep things clean, right? I try and keep it organized. I want to present a good picture of our business. So it starts right here with the little things. So you open any one of these drawers, and this is what it's gonna look like. These are just sockets, but they're not flopping everywhere. Everything has its place, is organized, so I can come in here, I can grab what I need, and I put it back. If you take care of your equipment and you take care of your tools, it'll take care of you. This is the mighty North Star air compressor. It's beautiful, isn't it? Everybody has their favorite brand. We got this from Northern Tool. It's great. It had a great warranty, good reviews. It does what we need it to do. I'm not painting cars for what we need for, tires and things like that. It's great for that. I don't know if you can see this, right, where it just says pump oil changed, March 2021. I just put this little tag on here just so I know when I put pump oil in it, how long it's been in it. I like to swap it out. The pump oil's still good. We don't use it a lot. It's not real dirty. So I'll probably change it here shortly. And I'll put another one of these tags on it. A little maintenance trick helps me remember. This is a Cox reel. You can always tell because they're blue. It's expensive. More expensive than I actually thought it would be. I want to say it was like $400 or $500 just for the reel, but it's really well made. It's built like a tank. It locks, and then all you do, pull as much hose out as I need. This hose is the Flexzilla hose. I love Flexzilla stuff. And then basically I just stand here and I roll it back up. And I just put the lock back in it. So these are new for me. The big tank here is an oxygen tank. And then the small red tank right here is a acetylene tank. This is basically for a cutting torch because I don't have like a big machine that bends metal, if you will, right? So I heat it up and then bend it with a rosebud tip. You guys are gonna laugh at me. I'm gonna show you this, okay? So get ready. See this little pillow? It's called a creeper, thing you lay on and you go underneath the car and stuff with. I put this under my head because I'm old now and it's more comfortable for me. So whenever I'm doing a project, especially around here or something weird and it takes a bunch of like little doodads and tchotchkes and different bits and maybe like lineman pliers or electrical stuff, I like to put it all in here so I can just take it and go wherever I need to go, and it still stays organized. Yeah, I know, that's a bit much. Basically, this whole thing revolves around power tools, whether it's circular saws, grinders, sanders, Dremel stuff, routering stuff. I've got my chop saw here, and then I've got all my welding rods are here, helmet, protective gear, gloves, and a shirt, and all that other stuff. Different grease guns here. I've got some levels, and essentially all the boxes that all that stuff came in. So essentially, right after I put in the lights, I installed this little guy right here. It's tiny, but it puts out enough heat that I can keep it in the winter here, 65, 70 in here. This bad mamma jamma right here, it's just a loudspeaker. Generally, when you're not here, this thing is cranked up and usually I'm stuck listening to Nicki Minaj or whatever my daughter puts on. So moving along, these are green stakes, like landscape staples, like the metal version that most people use. They're cheaper, but I like green stakes because they're biodegradable. They work really well, honestly. We use these because we're landscapers, we work in a green industry, so we try and be green as much as we can. That's why we started using Jobber in the first place, was because we wanted to get rid of the paper. This is just an old filing cabinet, albeit with a bunch of stickers and stuff. I've got everything labeled here from grinders, tool chests, grease guns, things like that. When we purchased it, oh look, I even have like 94 to 2000 taxes in here. We do a lot of drainage work, so I use dual wall corrugated, so it's a corrugated pipe on the outside and then it's smooth on the inside. It's really heavy duty stuff. I like it better than PVC drainage pipe because it snaps together, it's easier. What I do is, I'll put a screw in it, or what farmers have used for years is this tile tape. It's great. I just tile tape the living daylights out of every joint. You'll be dead before it ever, we'll all be dead before it ever goes away. I use that when I have to go underneath the truck or whatever. It's a basic creeper. So that's a jungle jack. The front of that clips on to the front of a lawnmower, and you just pull back on the handle and it will basically pop your mower up so that you can get underneath of it to take the blades off. To change blades, clean underneath the deck, that type of thing. Back here, kind of in this corner, and I'll get out of the way a little bit so you can kind of see. Up here, right, this is basically all kinds of parts and stuff like that for trimmers and backpack blowers, whether it's fuel filters, air filters, spark plugs, things like that. This is extra straps here. There's literally more maintenance parts that I haven't even used. My family makes fun of me for this all the time, right? Because they're like, Dad has a backup for his backups. It's all fun and games, right? Until you use the backup and you need the backup. And I only say that because it may take a little while to get a certain part, right? So if you need a part now, X broke on X machine, you may not be able to get that part. I basically have enough stuff for 2 maintenance cycles ahead. So this is a lot of spray grease. So you have wool wax and you have fluid film. This stuff is great. I don't really care which brand you buy. I bought this first. This stuff is, to me, it works the same. So I've been buying wool wax a lot. This is fluid film, heavy gel. This works great for like cables and things like that. The Navy uses this stuff like nobody's business for anchors and big giant cables and keeps it from rusting, right? Salt water does bad things to metal. Gladiator shelf number 2, and then 3, and then 4. Paint and paint guns and stain, and going over here, kind of same thing, brake parts cleaner. I've got all kinds of different caulk and construction adhesive. Down here at the bottom, if you're in landscaping, you already know you use a ton of this. Marking paint, where you're digging holes or putting patios or whatever. So why so much paint? I have cat paint here for the machines and things like that. It's kind of one of those things where you don't have to have the best equipment, but everybody can put lipstick on a pig. You don't have to have the newest, best, most expensive piece of Caterpillar equipment, but for crying out loud, you can at least make it look good. Right? You don't want to looking like the rag bag tag man that just rolled out of a duffel bag, like that fell out of a cave. Okay, I'm here, to do work on your $1.5 million home, right? No. Mm-mm. This is almost the entire shelf is cleaning stuff. In addition to the actual shop itself, we have what I would call a shop yard, if you will, that has building projects happening, things that you would keep outside, attachments, equipment, things like that. This is probably one of my better ideas, is to get your own fuel tanks. These are from Parman Energy. They're out of Nashville, if I am not mistaken. Pricing is based on how much you use. Even if I'm paying the same price as what I would at a pump, it cuts down on time dramatically, especially when you're going through so much diesel in your equipment. You can see here, right, it says dyed diesel. So this diesel is red in color, and it says non-taxable use only, not legal for motor vehicle use. So you're not paying the highway tax on the dyed diesel. It's the same diesel as what you would use in a diesel vehicle, but it's dyed red and it's cheaper. And this goes in to the machines. So the dyed diesel, it would be used for track loader, the mini excavator, basically anything that requires diesel fuel that does not get used on a roadway. This one is nothing special. I want to say it's like 10% ethanol, something like that, right? We use for the truck. I'm making 2-cycle for our small equipment, mowers, you know, that kind of thing. This is a compact track loader. It's made by Caterpillar. This is a 249D, which is great for us because we're landscapers. I'm not, you know, I'm picking up all kinds of really heavy stuff. I don't need high flow hydraulics to run, you know, mulching heads or things like that. These tracks, although they're worn out, and I have new tracks sitting over there, they're what you would consider turf friendly. This overhang right here off the side of the shop, this houses our UTV here in the center. Right where I'm standing is where the compact track loader goes, which you just saw. Just a couple brooms and everything that you use that gets wet when you clean stuff. So basically, after you're done using this stuff, you can just put it up here and it dries. This is a Caterpillar UTV. This is a gas-powered one. It's a 4-seater. We did have it modified with mirrors and the turn signal kit and all that other stuff so that it can be driven on the road. This was right around 22,000. Here is where the mini excavator usually sits. This right here is our 16-inch bucket. This is a ripper shank. I couldn't get one here in the US, believe it or not. So this actually came from England. This thing right here is phenomenal. If you need to like dig in any kind of hard pack, rocky soil, clay soil, you want to get some roots out, it's perfect. Cleaning up beds, breaking up any of that hard dirt, you know, so that you can easily just stick a shovel in it and dig. What you see here is a Cat 303E CR. It's considered a mini excavator, but I call it the Mighty Mini. For as small of an engine as it is, you'd be surprised at how much it can actually do. We do a lot of drainage work. I use this to dig a lot of the trenches for drainage. I may use it for tear outs. This one has what they call a long stick, so it's a 15-foot. The back and the side, it's all the same. So regardless of where I turn, I'm not gonna swing it around and hit a fence or hit a house or anything like that, which makes it pretty nice. So this is kind of the bread and butter, right? This is our truck, and honestly, it's really nothing fancy. I talk a lot about maintenance and things like that. So, you know, when you look at this truck, most people are blown away that, yeah, the truck is actually 12 years old. This is our first vehicle. So I bought this, you know, while I was still in the Army, so before Afghanistan, Korea. This originally pulled the larger enclosed trailer over there that you just saw versus the open trailer. We'll get another one, you know, but we wanted to focus more on the pieces of equipment and getting those and paying for those on the things that make us money. One of the attachments that I absolutely love, or honestly, I could probably talk about 2 of the attachments and they're right next to each other, maybe even 3. I don't even know. I'm gonna just show them to you all. How about that? This is a land leveler. It has teeth on the back and it has teeth on the front so that you can go forward and you can go backwards. And then it also has these shanks along the center bar, right, that you can hydraulically, you know, hook it up to the hydraulics and basically put them down. It's amazing for maintaining your gravel driveway in the dirt. This root grapple right here, or tree, basically has giant teeth, right? You hook it up to the hydraulics, right? It goes like this. That's how I moved these massive chunks of wood over here. These attachments are kind of my prized pieces just because I use them so often and they're so versatile and valuable to me and what I do, especially being out here you know, on the farm. I have one more. You're gonna think it's like really ridiculous, but it might be my most favorite tool of all time, and you're gonna laugh when I tell you what it is. So we're gonna go check it out. I'm gonna show it to you. Okay, so I'm gonna go get this piece of equipment. Now don't laugh too hard when I tell you, like, it's my most favorite thing, okay? It's ridiculous, but the backpack blower. It's like everybody, if you work in lawn care or landscaping or whatever, you have one of these things, right? This is an Echo 9010. This bad boy will literally blow bricks. It has that much power. I mean, it's crazy the amount of power it has. Why is this my favorite, right? Well, one, I live on the small farm and I live in the woods, right? So we get a lot of leaves. I blow off the driveway, I blow leaves with it, I clean out gutters with it, I blow dust off of stuff. You wash stuff, right? Oh, cool, I don't want to sit out here and dry everything. Okay, cool, so I'm just gonna put this on, right? And it's like a car wash, right? I just blow it all dry. I know. Y'all are laughing at, like, that's the most ridiculous thing, but it's my most favorite thing. And on job sites, I use it religiously. The backpack blower, my most precious, prized possession. Sounds like a dirt bike. You hear that? It's amazing. I'm gonna blow all 10 of these leaves right off the driveway. Yeah, look at that. Woo! Yeah, baby! See that? You hear that? I almost fell. Where do you see that wood? Went flying. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you had fun. I'll see you next time.